In the near future, in a bustling city filled with towering skyscrapers and busy streets, there lived a man named Samuel. Samuel was a homeless man, with tattered clothes and a long, unkempt beard. He wandered the city streets, carrying a small, weathered book that he cherished dearly. People passing by would often scoff at Samuel, thinking he was just another crazy person muttering to himself. They would cross the street to avoid him, believing he was nothing more than a nuisance. Little did they know, Samuel held a secret that would seal their fate. You see, Samuel was not just an ordinary man. He was the last prophet of Divinity, chosen by a higher power to deliver a message to humanity. The small book he carried was filled with ancient scriptures and prophecies passed down through generations. It contained the wisdom and guidance that could save the world from its impending doom. Samuel had spent years deciphering the cryptic messages within the book, trying to understand the true meaning behind them. He had seen visions of a future filled with chaos and destruction, and he knew it was his duty to warn the people. However, every time he tried to share his revelations, he was met with ridicule and disbelief. One day, as Samuel sat on a park bench, a young woman named Emily approached him cautiously. She had seen him around the city and had always been curious about his story. With a kind smile, she sat down beside him and struck up a conversation.
Hello, sir. My name is Emily. I've noticed you around, and I couldn't help but wonder about your story. Would you mind sharing it with me?
She asked gently. Samuel looked at her, his eyes filled with a mix of weariness and hope. He hesitated for a moment, unsure if he could trust her. But something in Emily's eyes told him that she was different, that she would listen with an open heart.
Emily, my dear, I am not just a homeless man. I am the last prophet of Divinity.
Samuel began, his voice filled with conviction.
I have been chosen to deliver a message to humanity, a message that can save us all.
Emily listened intently as Samuel shared his visions and the prophecies he had uncovered. She was captivated by his words, feeling a deep sense of truth resonating within her. She realized that Samuel was not crazy, but rather a messenger with a purpose. Determined to help Samuel fulfill his mission, Emily reached out to her friends and family, spreading the word about the last prophet of Divinity. Slowly but surely, people began to listen. They gathered round Samuel, eager to hear his message and learn from his wisdom. As the days passed, Samuel's following grew, and his message spread like wildfire throughout the city. People from all walks of life came together, united by a common purpose, to change the course of their future. They began to take action, making positive changes in their lives and in the world around them. However, unbeknownst to Samuel and his followers, there were those who saw his message as a threat. Powerful individuals who thrived on chaos and control. They conspired in the shadows, plotting to silence Samuel and his followers once and for all. One fateful night, as Samuel and his followers gathered in a makeshift sanctuary, the forces of darkness descended upon them. Armed men stormed the sanctuary, their faces masked with cruelty and determination. Chaos erupted as screams filled the air, and the once peaceful gathering turned into a bloodbath. Samuel, with tears streaming down his face, watched helplessly as his followers were mercilessly slaughtered. He knew that his message had been twisted, turned into a catalyst for destruction rather than salvation. In that moment, Samuel realized that he had failed in his mission. And so, Samuel's legacy lived on, not as the last prophet of Divinity, but as a tragic figure whose message had been perverted. The city, once vibrant and full of life, now stood as a haunting reminder of what could have been. Samuel's voice, once filled with hope, was silenced forever, lost in the city. The forces of darkness had triumphed, and the world plunged into an era of darkness and despair. Samuel, broken and defeated, wandered the desolate streets, his heart heavy with guilt and sorrow.